Continuing with reading my English translation of the Quran, chapter 02, the account of the Heifer of Israel. I will read now verses 260 to 269. There came a time in their relationship when Abraham felt compelled to ask his Lord, "My Lord, show me how you breathe your spirit of life into the dead souls of the living. Show me how you resurrect a soul and bring it back from the world of the dead." His Lord said, "Do you have any doubts in my absolute ownership of the right to life? Are you still wondering if you can trust me to be your soul protector?" He said, "I believe in you, but my heart is in turmoil, and my distressed soul needs to feel your comforting assurances." His Lord said, "Then find yourself 4 uplifting ideals, like the birds that can fly high in the sky. Let them raise your soul up above the instinct of its earthly toil. Befriend these birds, pour these ideals into the cup of your soul, and let your cup overflow to change the emotions in your heart. Set a certain combination of your birds on every mountain. Noble ideals with pure emotions will empower you with the right words to confront every obstacle you will face. It will give you the steely resolve you need to climb every mountain. Call the 4 birds to come flying back to you. Every time you recount your ideals, your soul will fly back to you, soaring in the ecstasy of its heavenly ascendance, rejuvenated and healed from its turmoil and distress. This will give you certainty in your heart, an understanding without a doubt that the God of all, the absolute owner of the right to life, the living spirit in all people, Allah, is a sovereign ruler over the lives of all people. He shares his sovereignty with no one. People that spend their money in serving God and in advancing his mission and cause of equal rights, their investment is like sowing a seed that grows into a plant with 7 stems, and each stem yields 100 kernels. God will multiply many times over the money of any person whom he chooses to give such a favor. The God of all knows the genuine intention in every man's heart, and he gives a plenty to a wide array of people from all persuasions. He is tolerant and knowledgeable. His spirit of providence is inclusive and immeasurably expansive. People that spend their money in serving God and in advancing his mission and cause of equal rights, provided that they do not engage in disparaging or injuring the dignity of the recipients of their donations, they are going to be rewarded by their Lord. They are under our protection now, and they will not lose any of their God-given rights ever again. They are protected from the threats of ruthless warlords and from the grief that comes from losing their inherent rights of ownership. Words expressing empathy and the display of a spirit of tolerance, these acts are more generous than handing out a charity to a needy person, than disparaging him with some deeply hurtful remarks. The spirit in control of all the abundance in providence, Allah, the God of all, does not need anyone's charity. His tolerance for bad behavior is immeasurable. We say to you, O people that believed God to be your sole protector, do not make disparaging and hurtful remarks to the recipients of your charity. Otherwise, you will lose the charitable value of your giving. Like that person who makes sure people are seeing him when he spends his money on charity. He only gives for the visual effects, to cultivate a certain image of himself. He is a fraud who does not believe in the existence of God's protection, and he does not accept that a day will come when his transient life in its material form would end. His behavior is like that patch of soil barely sticking to the surface of a smooth boulder. The first storm that comes along washes the soil away. Ultimately, such people are not in control of what happens to their material gains. Deceitful people that ignored the existence of God's protection are not meant to receive the gift of His guiding light. There is a metaphor that can be used to describe people that are driven by their noble feelings to do charity. Their only motive is to please God and receive His compliments, to affirm the honesty of their charitable desire, and make their hearts pure for Him. Their spirit is like the giving spirit of that garden nestled in the high mountains. If it gets some heavy rains, it ends up producing double its usual harvest, and in the absence of any storms, it still produces fruits from the water of morning dew. Nothing ever escapes God's attention, and His watchful eye records what you do at any time. Consider this proposition: to be one with existence or to be connected with the absoluteness of arrogance. Is this what happens? Is this what a person desires in life? To have his own earthly paradise, full of palm and grape trees, with streams of sweet water flowing underneath, and to enjoy every type of fruit in this secure haven, then to become afflicted with the disease of arrogance? What can they do for him when his children were kept unempowered and divided? Then one day a tornado with lightning ravaged his land and burnt the paradise of his false pride to the ground. He was left with the ashes. And this is how, in metaphors like this, the God of all, Allah, the spirit of humility in all people, would reveal His Spirit to you. The purpose is to make you think on your own and as a group, to have everyone participate in collective thinking and decision-making. We say to you, the people that believed God's protection to be the source of their security and not tribal protection, set aside for charity a portion of your honest gains and some of that produce that we have provided for you from the land. And it should be the wholesome stuff, still full of goodness. Do not pick out the foul and the stale stuff to give away to charity. It is the stuff that you would not put in your own mouth unless your eyes were blindfolded. You should know that the Spirit in control of all the abundance in providence, Allah, the God of all, does not need anyone's charity. It suffices Him the benevolence of His own charity. Satan bids you to become a selfish, ungiving soul, and he commands you to commit self-destructive sins, just like he did. But the spirit of giving in all of you, Allah, God, bids you to become guiltless and to become chosen for His favor. He is well aware of who has a selfish and who has a giving soul. He is tolerant and cognizant of all the voices in your heart. His spirit of providence is inclusive and immeasurably expansive. God will choose whomever He wants to empower with a keen sense of judgment, to make sound rulings for the people, and whoever gets chosen for this gift is undoubtedly a soul that would receive enormous riches. People that remind themselves of God's rulings are the ones with the rational, discerning minds.